In this short video, we're going to go through how to use Excel to do calculations for us with any old formula that we might find in physics. We're going to focus on two main things. One, how to set it up so that Excel does that math for us in the simplest possible way. And two, how to get Excel to repeat certain calculations or other changes to data that we want to do over and over and over again. So what I've got set up here on the screen is our starting point. We're going to use this formula that is found in physics. It's kind of associated with Sir Isaac Newton, who first figured this out, this relationship out, and how much force exists between two objects with mass due to gravity between them. And what this means, it's okay if you're a little shaky on this because this is before when we're going to get to this. But what this means is if we want to find the force of gravity, this Fg, we're going to use a fraction to do it. On top of the fraction is G, a physical universal constant that's the same everywhere for all intents and purposes. And it's got a value of this over on the left. 6.67. E means times 10 to the power negative 11. So this means we take the decimal place and move it to the left 11 times. So it's 0.0, 10 zeros between the decimal point, and then 667 newtons meters squared per kilogram squared. It's a universal constant, so we just plug it in. We don't have to worry about exactly where it comes from right now. And then these are the two masses, M1 and M2, of the objects that we'll be studying. The R here is the distance between them, the radial distance between them, and we square that. So I've set up a little bit up here. I'm going to make a list of different distances between those masses that I'm interested in. I'm going to measure it in meters. I don't like how I want all this in my label because it's important information for me, but I don't like how it stretches over 3 columns. So the first thing I'm going to do is go up here and use this wrap text button while highlighting the distance one, and that will automatically put it into my 1 column. I'm going to bold that because headings for tables should be bolded. And I'm going to use this to put a border under it rather than underline, put a border under it. So now it really sets it off from the rest. I'm also going to just highlight this whole area where my table is going to be and say center all of that so that everything's nice and neat. In this next column, I want the gravitational force. I'm going to abbreviate force of gravity, and that's going to be measured in newtons. And I'm going to do the same thing with it to format it. So I wrap the text, I bold it, and I put the line underneath it. Notice that both of these now are also down at the bottom, which is good. That's this key right up here, bottom of line. Since they're both describing things under it, that makes the most sense. If I had this aligned some other way, then there's a big gap between, and that makes it harder to read. So I'm just going to go, let's go by hundreds of meters. Let's actually just go by 1 meters. So I want a 1 and a 2 and a 3, and I'm going to go all the way to 10. And I could type those in, but I can also get Excel to do it quicker for me because Excel recognizes patterns. So if I highlight this where I've got my pattern set up and then mouse over this little green box in the corner, my cursor changes to a plus. And now if I click and drag downward, you can see me highlighting more of this. I'm going to highlight all of this, and Excel knows that it's just going to repeat that. Notice that next to my cursor, I have the number of cells, or maybe even the value, the way I set it up, that's going to appear in the last cell highlighted. Let go, and it repeats that. Slick. Now, in my force of gravity, I want to reconstruct this formula that I've got right up here. And so just like in other things, I'm going to tell Excel that I want it to do math by using the equal sign. Now, I want to input these values. So I can just click. I want G. I've already got the value of G. So I click on the cell where that value is. Then I'm going to multiply that by M1. So I hit the multiplication sign, select M1, hit the multiplication sign, select M2. So that's multiplying those things on top, just like in my formula. Now I want to divide it by the radius, the separation of them, and that's the thing that I keep changing. So I'm going to hit the divided by sign, and I want to go over and highlight the cell that I want to use as radius. Now, unfortunately, that cell is below where I'm already typing. I'm typing in cell E10 right here. So if I want to input that one to the left, I can just hit my cursor. I just hit my arrow button to move it over one. And you see, it's looking at D10 now, right where I want it. And I want to square that. So I do the caret and 2, and it squares it. And it does my calculation. It even resizes it. That's okay. Now you'll notice a couple things. One, like we discussed in the last video, that's way too many digits. So I'm going to shrink it down. I've got 2 in this one, 3 in the others. I could go to either 2 or 3. 2 is most appropriate, but 3 would be okay for this class too. And then I want to repeat this. Now I can do the same trick going down. I'm going to show you that once. And it repeats that. Now I get a 0. Why? If I highlight this, notice that every time I went, or each time I go down with that fill function, it's going to also move all of the cells with me. Some of that's good. It moved it to D11, the number right next. That's actually really good, but it also moved, instead of G, it picked this number. Instead of M1, it picked this number. Instead of M2, it picked this number. That's blank. So it interprets it as a 0. Since I'm multiplying by 0, everything becomes 0. What I'd really like to do is go up, and I want to modify my original to, when I move down, don't move the cells that I want to keep constant, my G, my mass 1, and my mass 2. And the way I do that is just to put a $sign in front of the part that I want to keep constant. So that would be in front of the number 4, number 5, and number 6. Now it's also okay to put a $sign in front of the E. That means if I move left or right, it won't change those to follow me. It'll keep it in E4, E5, and E6. And I'm just going to hit enter. I see no difference in my original function, but now if I fill down, get a very different number. And going up, you notice, looking at the formula in that cell, you notice that my E4, E5, E6, these constants stayed the same, but it still moved down to D11. And I can just repeat that process by highlighting all of them, and it repeats all the way down, shows me the force of gravity as it goes down. Okay, so that's a couple important tasks that you'll use throughout this class in Excel. Hopefully they help make your day a little easier.